Good morning, St. Augustine. Your access to the voices of top local newsmakers starts now. Here's your host, Liz Ryan.
Good morning. It's nice to have you listening today. I have a very special guest in studio. It's Mr. Tom Toretta, who is the fundraising director for Habitat for Humanity. It's so nice to have you here this morning, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Liz. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. Before we start talking about Habitat, Tom, let's learn a little bit more about you and your background. Where'd you grow up?
Sure. I grew up on Staten Island, New York. Born and raised there.
Yankees fan?
Well, I was when I was... Well, first I was a Mets fan when Tom Seaver was playing. And then eventually I switched to the Yankees. And then I found out how much money professional ball players were making and then the owners were making. And I stopped watching sports altogether. So I still watch some golf, though, because that's kind of an individual sport. Either you do it or you don't. But most other sports, I'll go play. I'll throw a ball around with you, but I don't really watch sports anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Then what? How long?
Sure. So I lived on Staten Island until I was about 25. And then my wife and I got married, and we went on our honeymoon for a week. We went on a cruise to Bermuda, and then we came home, spent a day at each of our parents' homes, and then we got in our car with our dog and drove across the country without jobs to Arizona. And we lived out in Arizona for 4 years.
You didn't have a job waiting
No,
for you there, or
no.
did you have a place to live waiting for you there?
Well, I had gone a month before and rented a place, and we had saved some money, and we just rolled the dice. My grandparents retired out there in the 70s, and I loved it out there, and my wife was crazy enough to say, yeah, let's go out there. So we went out there.
Oh, my goodness. What part of Arizona?
We were out in Fountain Hills, which is right near Scottsdale and Phoenix, in that Phoenix metro area. And we were out there for 4 years. Then my wife missed her family, so we moved back. And we were back here for 4 years, and about halfway through that, my wife realized that the winter was cold in New Jersey, and she didn't like that. So back to Arizona, and we were out there for 11 more years.
Wow.
Yeah. And
So
then,
what brought you to Florida?
and my in-laws retired here instead of Arizona.
Oh.
So they retired here, and I always told them if they moved somewhere warm where it didn't snow, I would consider moving, thinking they would just move to Arizona where we were, and we had our jobs and our friends. But I was wrong. They moved to St. Augustine. At least they picked a nice spot in Florida. We really like St. Augustine.
How did they pick St. Augustine?
They were visiting friends in Vero Beach, and when they told the friends they were going to come visit them, their friend said, well, make sure you stop in St. Augustine and just check it out because it's a really cool little town. And after that was it. They saw St. Augustine, and they started coming to St. Augustine regularly after that. And the next thing you know, they're looking at retiring in St. Augustine. So
I hear that a lot. You know, we were just passing through St. Augustine and decided to stay. We just fell in love with it and wanted to make it our home. And that's, I think, the same story for a lot of people.
Yep. I hear that a lot because I ask people generally, how did you find St. Augustine? Because when I was a kid growing up, in history class, you didn't hear about St. Augustine and how it was settled by Europeans before Plymouth Rock and all that other stuff. And so to know that there were people here since 1565 from Europe is kind of amazing. To think that it was even discovered or seen in the early 1500s. Never really learned too much about that in my history class.
It's kind of like the big lie that America started in Plymouth. With Plymouth Rock or Jamestown. It's St. Augustine, baby.
Right. And even there were some other places that were, established but then fell off over time. But all that history that we never learned about, it's kind of cool.
So how long have you been here?
We've been here for 12 years now.
Do you like it?
Yeah, we do. We live right in Lincolnville, right? So I told my wife I wanted to be stumbling distance from downtown, so I didn't have to worry about driving my car and parking and fighting traffic.
Smart. Very smart. So what got you involved with Habitat?
I was looking for a job. I was a development director already, and I knew Melinda. We had been on the radio together, co-interview or something, where we were both being interviewed and talking about how it would be nice if we Habitat and COA, the Council on Aging, where I worked before, could do some kind of collaboration to help house some seniors. And so Melinda told me about the opening, and I told her, yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. Let's go. And so here I am.
Tell me a little bit more about Melinda.
So Melinda is a go-getter.
She is.
So she worked for a Habitat in Michigan years ago, and then she moved down to Florida when she got married. And she had been wanting to work for Habitat, but the position was never open. So she found other jobs at other nonprofits. And then when she heard about the Habitat position opening about 7 or 8 years ago, she applied and took the job. And she's really taken Habitat to the next level. But we were building about 4 to 6 homes a year on average. And then starting last year, we built 18 homes. And then this year, we're projected to build 20 homes. So we're really growing.
How did Habitat go from building 4 homes a year to 18 or 20 homes a year?
Right. So we switched the model. So there are other affiliates doing this. In the past, we would hold the mortgages ourselves. So we could afford to hold about 4 to 6 mortgages a year. And then we would just be tapped out. We wouldn't have enough resources to do more than that. But the need for affordable housing has skyrocketed. So in 2017, the median cost of a home was about $275,000. And the county acknowledged that $275,000 was a housing crisis starting. They knew that in 2017 that was a problem. Mm-hmm. Well, now the median home cost is about $550,000 to $575,000. So, and we're selling our homes for $248,000 for a 2-bed 1-bath and $278,000 for a 3-bed 2-bath. So it's just the housing costs have gone way up.
Do you find that St. Johns County in particular has a housing crisis in the sense that it's an expensive county to live in?
It's expensive everywhere. It's gone up a lot everywhere, but in St. Johns County in particular, it's one of the highest increases around.
I think a lot of people have the impression that Habitat builds houses and gives them away to people who are maybe homeless or have no income or are in dire straits, and they just gift them the homes. But that's not the case at all.
Right, not at all. So everyone who buys a home, they have their own mortgage. They have to pay insurance. They have to pay taxes. So it's real home ownership. Working with us, though, we do try to. This is back to the mortgages. So now we were working with USDA to have mortgages starting last year. That program is no longer available, but that enabled us to have the USDA hold the mortgages. And now we're working with banks, and the banks will hold the mortgages for us. So, but these people they have real mortgages from real banks, and they have all the paperwork that you have to sign when you get your mortgage. They sign all the same paperwork. We do work with the banks to try to buy down the interest rate a little bit. That comes out of our coffers, but it also helps the homeowner. So we try to set the homeowner up for success. We make sure that their mortgage is no more than 30% of their income. We help them if there's down payment assistance. We help them qualify and get the down payment assistance, which will lower their mortgage. We work with different organizations to try to help them wherever we can. Just to, we want them to succeed. We want them to own their home. I just met a woman today we did a home dedication this morning, and I just met a woman who is a Habitat homeowner, and she just paid off her mortgage 2 years ago. So she's been in the house for 15 years now. She has no more mortgage. Owns the home free and clear. And that's 2 of her other neighbors are homeowners, too, and they've finished their mortgages. So all 3 of them now live on the same block. They've lived there for 15 years together. And they all don't have mortgages anymore.
Fantastic. And what a great feeling not to be shackled down by a mortgage.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. But what happens, Tom, if someone comes to you and they qualify for a home, but they just don't have the credit?
Yeah, so there are programs available through the county to help people get their credit where it needs to be. We also have a group of mentors, volunteers, and if anyone's interested in volunteering, we can talk about that later. But so we have the volunteer mentors who get assigned to a homeowner, a future homeowner, and they will work with that homeowner from about 6 months before they close on their home through 6 months to a year after they own the home. And the whole idea is they're not going to know what landmines to avoid, so they help figure out how to get insurance, how to set up the HVAC service so that their air conditioner gets serviced every 6 months, how to set fuses on and off, how to change light bulbs if they've never had to do that because they've been renting a lot of them, or they've been living with relatives and they've not had to worry about a fuse blowing or a light bulb going out or all these things that you now have to worry about.
So Habitat is such a safety net for people in so many ways.
Right. Yep. And
what
homeownership,
a godsend.
It sets people on a whole new trajectory. We have so many homeowners who were working in one industry, and then they got in their home and they realized, okay, well, now I know how much I'm going to pay, and this isn't going to go up. It's going to cost this much. And so they go back to school and they re-career, or they are able to put more effort into their jobs and they actually get promoted in their job. So it sets them on a whole new trajectory. Just the stability and the security you get from home ownership is amazing.
It's everything, isn't it?
Right.
It truly is. You're listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. I'm your host, Liz Ryan, chatting today with Tom Toretta, who is the Habitat for Humanity fundraising director. Tom, I'm wondering wondering if you see a lot of these folks who have been lifted up by Habitat for Humanity, had the trajectory of their life changed, as you say, and Habitat has opened up a whole new world for them. Do you see these people sometimes getting on their feet, getting established, thriving, flourishing, and then coming back and wanting to give back to Habitat?
We do see that. So we have homeowners who, when we do events like we're going to have a veterans build coming up in November 7th and 8th, we have some of the homeowners who are veterans who are going to come and help out that day because people have come to help them for different events when their houses were getting built. So without a doubt, we see that a lot. So people do come out, they help again. We have other homeowners who aren't veterans, but they still, they have some time. They feel like giving back. They realize what a good position they're in now, and they want to just give back and help people who are in a similar boat that they were in not too long ago.
Fantastic. I think there's probably, Tom, so many people out there who qualify that don't realize they qualify.
Without a doubt. This is one of the biggest hurdles that we as Habitat for Humanity have to share. So we used to build homes for people who were between 30% and 80% of the average median income. Well, about 2 or 3 years ago, Habitat St. Johns County got approval from Habitat International to bump that. So now we build homes for 30% of average median income all the way up to 120% of average median income, which means if you're a single person earning between $35,900 and $86,100 every year, you can qualify for a Habitat home. If you're a couple making between $41,000 and $98,400, you can qualify for a Habitat home. There are other things you have to do to qualify, but the salary range is generally, most people who live and work in St. Johns County fit that salary range.
Maybe a lot of people think, I'm employed, I have a job, I have a full-time job. Certainly I don't qualify, but you have people in law enforcement, people in the education field that qualify.
Oh, sure. Healthcare, any of the businesses, whether it's restaurant business or hospitality, or a lot of these people qualify and just don't realize that they do. So you should go to our website and check it out. We have a bunch of information about how to know if you qualify, things like that. Mm-hmm. So the website's www.habitatstjohns.org, and it's ST for Saint. So www.habitatstjohns.org, and there's a bunch of information up there. But yeah, the salary ranges are way larger than most people expect, and we do not give homes away. And there's no waiting list for homes right now. We have our applications are open. People can apply. If they have questions, they can call us and ask. We're around from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And we have volunteers on site every Tuesday through Saturday. So if you want to volunteer, you want to get dirty, there's opportunities available Tuesdays through Saturdays. You can come by yourself. You could sign up a group. All that information's on our website as well.
What kind of a commitment is volunteering, Tom? Do you have to come on a regular basis? Can it be a one-time thing?
So there's all different ways that people can volunteer. We have our regulars, we call them, and they're there every Tuesday and Thursday. Some are there every Wednesday and Friday, and they're just there doing the bigger jobs, like they put down the flooring, they put in the doors and the windows. They help with all the stuff that's a little more labor intensive and a little more skills are required. But if you don't have skills and you want to become a regular, our regulars and our on-site construction folks will teach you anything you want to learn and have you working for us for free.
You answered my question. I was going to say, what if you're useless like me and you don't even know how to bang a nail? Can you still be helpful?
Yeah, so what we're finding is because we're building so much faster, we use a lot more subcontractors. So a lot of the really hard stuff is done by subcontractors. And our volunteers who want to just come once in a while or once, a lot of times it's painting or caulking or, helping around the house. If we have a younger group, sometimes like high school kids will volunteer, like a football team or something. We'll have them laying sod or doing stuff like that. So there's all different things that need done. And depending on your skill set and what your interests are, we usually can find a spot.
Fantastic. I know your job is very hard. You work very hard, a lot of hours. I imagine sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, but it's so rewarding. Tell me about turning a house over to, or home, I should say, over to a family. What is that like?
So that's the magic. That's where the goosebumps happen. So the home dedications where we'll say a little prayer, bless the house, Usually their pastor will come out or someone they know will do that part. And then we'll say a few words about Habitat and what we do and, the experience that this homeowner's had. And then we let the homeowner talk, and that is when you usually start tearing up, because the homeowners generally will start tearing up before they're even able to talk. And then when they say the things they say, you realize how much we take for granted just because, I've owned a home most of my life. My parents owned their home. It was a little duplex, but they still owned it. So to think that you're in your 40s or 50s and sometimes 60s and you've never owned a home, and you've been couch surfing, or you've been living with relatives, or you've always had roommates in an apartment, and it's totally foreign to me, but there are a lot of people live that way. To know that now this person has their own space that they could paint whatever color they want, and they don't have to worry about the rent going up, and they don't have to worry about their rental becoming an Airbnb, and all these different things that you never think about as a homeowner.
And they can keep their kids in the same school year after year.
And that's something else we see. So because now the kids are in that same school, usually they excel as well. So, when you're constantly tearing your kids out of a school, they have to find new friends. They're the newcomer. The bullies are all over them.
Yep.
And all of that. If they meet new teachers and no one knows who they are, they got to reintroduce themselves. So once they get stable, they also thrive. Now they have their set of friends, and that's not going to change. They know who their teachers are, and that's not going to change. It's just they know where they're going when the bus picks them up, and that's not going to change.
That's terrific.
Life-altering.
What an amazing feeling that is. I remember being a young person, and I remember looking down and seeing my hand and a key in my hand turning the lock on my door for the first time, and it was such an exhilarating feeling.
Right.
And it must be so satisfying, Tom, for you to make that happen for people,
right?
And
right.
your colleagues,
right? And so Melinda and Candace, our homeowner services manager, they go generally to all of the closings, and so they're there as the homeowner is signing the paperwork, and they're excited and nervous, and then we take some pictures afterward where they're holding the key. And it's just, you could just tell that they're so excited, and it's such an amazing experience.
I bet. Those are the moments you live for, right?
And generally, then they go home, and they have their moving truck sitting in their driveway, and they drive to the house, and they move in that day.
Terrific. Tom, do a lot of people perhaps hesitate to apply or don't apply at all because they're hinky about asking for help, or they're a little embarrassed maybe?
I think there's a lot of that. I think some of it's ego, some of it's that they just don't realize that they qualify, and they feel like maybe they're taking a home from someone else, and that's not the case. We're building, like I said, we built 18 homes last year. We're building 20 homes this year. We're hoping to get to 30 homes by 2028. So we have homes, and if you qualify, you should come check it out, because owning a home is life-changing.
It sure is. And this is such good news to me, Tom, because I just assumed there was a long waiting list to get a Habitat home. Tell me about the sweat equity folks need to put in to their home. Sure.
So we now require 125 hours of sweat equity because we're moving at such a fast pace that we've lowered the number of hours required. 100 have to be done by the homeowner, and then 25 can be done by friends. So they can have like 3 friends come out one day, and they'll bang out those 25 hours. So that's one of the requirements, is the sweat equity hours. Another requirement is the need for housing. And then other than the salary, the final requirement is having a credit score of 640 or higher. So and if you don't have that credit score, like I said, there are programs that can help you. We have mentors who can help you. So there's ways to get around that. So check it out.
Check it out. If you just tuned in, welcome. You're listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. I'm your host, Liz Ryan, chatting this morning with Tom Toretta, the fundraising director for Habitat for Humanity. Tell me, Tom, if you would, about the 32 acres you just closed on.
Oh, yeah, this is exciting stuff. So because we're building at such a fast pace, if we didn't find land, we would have no land by 2027 to build on. So we just happened to meet with a couple that was selling their property. It's 32 acres, and it's just north. It actually abuts the Salomon Calhoun Center's property in West Augustine. So if you know where that is.
That's a terrific facility.
And that's a great spot to have, a house, because you could walk to the pool, you could walk to the sports fields, you could walk to whatever other physical activities they do at the Salomon Calhoun Center. And we'll be building probably 75 homes or so on those 32 acres. So I think we're going to build on about 15 of those acres, and the rest are going to be preserved. So there'll be wildlife and...
Excellent. Yeah. When do you expect to have those houses built?
We're going to start probably in 2027. So right now we're building Volusia Woods. We should finish that by the summer of 2026. And then we're going to be building in what we're calling Cypress Village, which will be off North Clay Street and West King Extension. That'll be about 17 homes. And then we have about 8 lots in Vermont Heights that we'll be building also in 2026-27 timeframe. And that'll give us time to get all of our planning and everything and the infrastructure in place on the new property.
Excellent.
Which we don't really officially have a name on yet, but we're getting close.
How do you decide on a name?
Well, it's all, the board and the staff talk about it. We talk to donors sometimes. We talk to people who live in the neighborhood sometimes. And so there's all different ways we get ideas for names.
Tell me about the Veterans Build, Tom.
Oh, yeah. This is fun. This is going to be our first annual Veterans Build. It's going to be on November 7th and 8th, and we're inviting all of our veterans who live here, as well as active military and their families, to come out on November 7th and 8th. We'll probably start at like 8 in the morning or so and go till 3 in the afternoon, depending on the weather. And we may do groups of like a morning team and an afternoon team on both days, depending on how many people sign up. But yeah, we're going to come out and build some homes, and we're hoping that we'll have a couple of lots, a couple of blocks from Volusia Woods available where we can actually be throwing up walls and doing the more fun stuff, swinging the hammer and all that. But worst case scenario, we'll be at Volusia Woods doing some painting and some caulking.
I predict, Tom, that this will bring a lot of veterans together and spark some friendships between veterans who would otherwise never have met. That's
what I'm hoping. We work already with some female veteran groups, Hope for Veterans, and some other female veterans who've come and helped on Women Build. So I'm hoping that they come, as well. We get some of the male veterans out there together, and then we have our homeowners who are veterans. So if we can get a whole group of people who may not have ever met before and get them together and make some magic happen.
What a great idea. I love that. Once again, where and when is that Veterans Build?
So right now we don't know where. It's either going to be at Volusia Woods, which is just off Volusia Street by the 4 Mile Road Circle, or it could be a block or two away where we have a couple of buildable lots that we are going to build more slowly. We'll know the date more clearly probably in a couple of weeks. But the time will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on November 7th and 8th.
Okay. And folks can keep up with Habitat's activities by going to the social media and the website, right?
We have social media. We have a website. We also have an e-newsletter that you could sign up for on our website, or you can call us or email us, and we can get you onto that e-newsletter, which we send out once a month. So. And then we also will have special emails throughout the month if there are things going on.
Super. What kind of donations do you look for, Tom?
All kinds. So cash is king, of course. So if you want to donate, you can donate monthly. You can donate once a year. You can donate through your estate plans, for example. So you can leave us in your will. You can make us a beneficiary on insurance policy or a 401k plan. You could donate a car or any other vehicle. So we have a program called Cars for Homes where you call a number or you go online and fill out a form, and the company will come, pick up your car, we'll auction it off, and then we get the proceeds from that car to use to build a home or whatever we need to do. There's also charitable gift annuities for older donors who want to get some kind of like annuity payment back every quarter or every month. That's up to you to decide. But while you're alive, you'll get that payment. And then when you pass, we would get the remainder of whatever was left. So there's all different ways to give. I'm happy to talk to anyone about the different options. But
you walk folks through it, so you make it easy.
Oh, without a doubt. Definitely make it as easy as I can.
I love that. That's great. Do you have a model home that folks can tour?
We do. So one of our homes, it's at 890 Helen Street. We have set up as a model home. We actually had a couple of our employees went to several of the thrift stores around town, and we bought some furniture, and we've furnished the home.
Fun.
Yeah, they enjoyed it. So they've decorated the home. It's really cute. Again, it's 890 Helen Street. We're going to be doing an open home on October 25th from 10 to 12 in the morning. That's a Saturday.
That's great. Okay, Tom, back to the mortgages. How is it that you're able to build so much quicker now than you used to?
Right. So instead of us holding the mortgages, we now partner with local banks, Ameris Bank, for example, and they will work with our homeowners, and they'll hold the mortgage. And then when we close on the home, instead of us getting monthly payments, we now get the lump sum from the closing, which enables us to build the next house plus. So it helped us accelerate on how quickly we can build. So as long as we're closing on homes, we have the money we need. We're building an engine to help us build as we go.
That's terrific. There's so much bad news out there these days. It's so nice to hear something so positive and inspiring. This 30 minutes is going by so fast. I could talk to you all day, Tom. But before you go, I wanted to say once again for folks who may have just tuned in, there's so many people out there that qualify for Habitat Home that don't realize they qualify. Habitat doesn't build homes and give them away for free to people who have no income. These homes are sold below market value.
Well, yeah, I could talk about that a little. So we sell our homes at the appraised value.
Okay.
So the market value is way higher than the appraised value right now. So, for example, we have the 2-bedroom, 1-bath home that we have. It is about 874 square feet. It's 2-bed, 1-bath. It's got metal roof, granite countertops, nice vinyl flooring. It comes with all the appliances, which are stainless. So Whirlpool donates appliances, the refrigerator and the stove, to every Habitat across the country.
Good for them.
And then they sell us the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher, and the microwave, all 4 pieces for $1,000.
That's terrific.
So for the 874 square foot 2-bed, 1-bath home is appraising for $248,000 right now. The 3-bed, 2-bath home, which has the same metal roof, granite countertops, and everything else, is about 1,081 square feet, and that's appraising for $278,000 right now. I don't think you can buy a brand new single-family home on sewer and water in St. Johns County for those prices anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So please, if you're listening and you don't have a home, but you want a home and you think you might qualify, please reach out to Habitat. Don't hesitate. Don't wait another day. Reach out to Habitat for Humanity and just ask. They'll be happy to talk to you. How do folks get in touch with you, Tom?
So the best way to get a hold of us is to call us. The number is 904-826-3252, if you call that number. Candace, again, is our homeowner services manager. She would be able to best answer your questions, but even our front desk person can answer your questions. Yeah. So just find out. Don't be embarrassed to call. Don't let your ego prevent you from calling. We've had a lot of our current homeowners who said, I put this off for years because I didn't think I deserved one. It's like, it's not about deserving a home. It's about qualifying for a home. So do you qualify for a home? Do you want a home truly? Well, come get a home.
Thank you so much, Tom. It was a pleasure having you here today. And it just jumps out at me that you love what you do.
Oh, I do. It makes sleeping at night real easy.
I bet. What a rewarding career. And thank you for what you do for so many people. And your colleagues like Melinda do so much for so many people. Thank you so much for all you do.
Sure.
What do you think you'll do with the rest of your Sunday?
Well, chances are my wife and I are going to take a walk into town. Maybe we'll bring the dog with us. Maybe we'll go have a coffee or something. What
kind of dog do you have?
We have a pit bull mix. Her name is Layla. I call her Scooby-Doo, though, because she has those big Scooby-Doo ears.
That's hilarious. Thank you so much, Tom. Please stay in touch.
Oh, we'll do. Yep.
Thank you for listening to Good Morning St. Augustine. And remember, all of our programs can be downloaded as a podcast. Go to flaglerbroadcasting.com, click on podcasts, and scroll down to Good Morning St. Augustine. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday in our beautiful, ancient, historic city.